My name is Rhapsody, and welcome back to Slay the Spire. I'm going to be going with the Ironclad. I say as though it's a novel thing, as though I haven't done it prior. Or couple 100 dozen times prior. Alright, choose a card to obtain. Max HP plus 8 is lame. Max HP plus 16 is lame. Oh, crumbs. I actually don't want to lose Burning Blood. I might just go with max HP plus 8. Is 99 gold worth 8 HP? It would cost me probably about 150 in a shop to pick up a relic that would increase my HP by 7. So that's Strawberry to increase your HP by 7. Max HP, that is. Alright. I should have checked to see if there were any shops really early on in the floor. Because if there were, then I would have regretted that decision. I mean, there's this one, but it's not on a path that I have to choose. Whoa, 2 elites. Good. Good. Strong. Alright. Hug this, get our early question marks. Ooh. Alright, we got 16 max HP. I don't know why that was an ooh thing for me. Like, oh, I have completely forgotten what I just did 4 seconds ago. I'm like a goldfish. My memory is incredibly short. Sometimes that means that I end up repeating the same jokes because my memory is incredibly short, like that of a goldfish. Still gonna heal all of this back up at the end of the fight. Oh, we might start getting to the point, like, now I can't take any more damage for the rest of the fight, otherwise I won't be able to heal it all back up. Ooh, and I actually can't even fully block this one here. I'd love to get an early feed. I had an early feed a couple of runs ago on the Ironclad, and I ended up with like 150 max HP, and it was good, and everything was nice, and nothing hurt. I usually sit cross-legged. This is entirely outside of the game, by the way. This isn't strategy. Tune out for a couple seconds if you don't want to hear how I sit in a chair, because it's incredibly important and incredibly pertinent information to every person. And that's why I've decided to say it. I usually sit in a chair cross-legged, but the only pants I have available at the moment are like thick kind of chino long pants. And it is midsummer in Australia, and I'm actually really annoyed that I found an early shop. Thankfully, it doesn't really have anything I want desperately in it. It was on a question mark as well. Anyhow, the end of that story was effectively going to be, it's boiling me alive at the moment in a very uncomfortable way, as opposed to being boiled alive in an incredibly comfortable way, like all those frogs. That's literally a myth, by the way, just in case you were wondering. The whole idea that you can boil a frog if you do it slowly enough because it doesn't notice the rising temperature, not true. They do. They get out. It's one of those things that you should just think, does that sound ridiculously dumb? Yes? Well, it's probably ridiculously dumb then, isn't it? I'm gonna give this a shrug it off. That's just a value pick for me right now. Damage. So I've already taken my 6 damage in this fight, and I don't want to take any more, because that's all I can heal back up at the moment with Burning Blood. But I was pretty sure. Now let's headbutt and put Bash back on top. Yeah, because Bash Strike kills now, despite the block for 6. Because Bash Strike, thanks to the vulnerability, does 17. Double tap. As much as I do want some AoE in this deck, double tap in a deck that already has headbutt in it gives you the ability to do some really cool stuff. I am going to need like a shrug it off every turn, so I'm going to shrug it off, then headbutt to put that shrug it off back on top of the deck. But yes, it's midsummer, so it is a sweat fest, so I am entirely uncomfortable at all times. Oh, it's so fun! I hate everything. Alright. That's just the sound I make when I stretch. It sounds a lot like I'm saying I hate everything, but it's just me exhaling, I promise you. Flame Barrier, get a nice defensive card in here. I already have 2 defensive pickups, so at this point I probably stop taking defensive pickups for a while. It has to just be triple strike on a character here. There are only 2 more strikes in the deck, so I'm not going to be able to kill that 18 in my next hand. Which is unfortunate. Actually, if I had another strike in hand, I could do it right now. Oh, I could double tap Headbutt. See, the thing is, if I use Flame Barrier, I do deal 12 damage with Flame Barrier, and I protect myself against 12 damage. But killing this Sentry protects me against 8. And obviously it's dead, so I have less that I have to do in the future. How's this match up? I mean, 8 damage... Oh, no, this is fine. I do Flame Barrier and I strike here. Because this will set up this Sentry to die to the Headbutt next turn, which deals 9 damage. So this is actually the most efficient usage of my stuff here. Cool. I mean, now I'm going to use the Dazed before I use anything else, because I don't want to add any of those to the top of my deck right now. I think it's actually just double defend. Sure, I'm going to let 6 damage through, but hey, we're fighting Elite. This is how it goes. I lost my train of thought already. I ordered... Okay. Knowing that the Australian summer was going to be the world's roughest thing of all time, no one has ever suffered as much as me right now. I hope it's so clear that I'm sarcastic there. Knowing that it was going to be a pain, I ordered an air conditioning unit, just like a portable room air conditioning unit. And the company shipped it to the shipping company to then ship it to me. And it should have been here a month ago. But then they shipped it back. And again. They're just playing ping pong with my goddamn air conditioner. I need it. I will melt. I will actually physically melt. And they charged me $30 for the privilege of shipping something they seem to never intend on giving me. I know it sounds petty, but it has literally been the hottest summer in Australian history in Sydney. Come on. All right, that's the end of my madness about that. Or is it? I'm still angry. But I'll suppress it. For the sake of every eardrum everywhere. And... boom. I mean, that's a very small amount of HP to lose when fighting an elite. Immolate. Immolate's pretty good. So Immolate's going to allow me to burn some cards out of my deck, but also it'll allow me to counter a lot of enemies that fill your deck with trash. And when it does so, it's actually just a really good offensive card. Considering I have a bunch of 1 damage cards, like the 1 damage, 1 energy attack cards, like the Strike and the Headbutt, I'm going to upgrade Double Tap as my first. Alright, let's wait for the perfect opening hand here. Alright. I'm going to make you vulnerable. I'm not going to hit you again. And then next turn, we're going to try and blow you up with a bunch of instantaneous damage. I'm hoping for a double tap and then 2 attacks. There we go. Double tap, 2 attacks. Called it. I mean, it's not the biggest initial burst of damage I've ever done to a Lagavulin, but it's definitely not the smallest. I'm going to go for the full protection here. Just because, since I have double tap and I have vulnerability in my deck, I think I will just be able to blow up the Lagavulin at some point. Actually, I am going to take this opportunity because that's 24 damage in a single turn. That's pretty good. Obviously not incredible. It's pretty good. This is kind of unfortunate. Well, at least we drew Bash. I was worried that we weren't really going to get to use anything that turn that was kind of super consequential. Strike, strike, headbutt one of those strikes back to the top of my deck. All right, 20 damage next turn. That is entirely going to necessitate the use of a double tap. That's not a double tap. I could block all but 3 damage. Then my next hand, yeah. It's too, like, it's a 50-50 that I actually draw the double tap there, and then double tap plus the 5 damage strike. Yeah, no, I could have killed him that turn, but the Swift Potion at that point would effectively only be saving me from 3 damage. Ooh, blue candle. Okay, so we can start to take curses with absolute immunity and impunity. No, I didn't screw up the word the first time and then decide to correct myself halfway through. Why would you think such a thing? Oh, that's ice cream. Delicious. More and more, as I look at this space, I think the only correct option is remove. Change is definitely incorrect. I'll tell you that much. Change is, bar some absolute miracle, bar some ridiculous specific circumstance, I think transform is never the correct option here. Upgrade can be the correct option if you have some linchpin of your run that is not upgraded yet. Like if double tap wasn't upgraded yet and I had Rampage, for example, then maybe. But I think it's always remove. Holy crumbs. Let's go for a super thin deck. Let's get this Sundial active. Let's go. Oh, Shuriken, every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain 1 strength. With a double tap build, that is super often triggered. Oh, I think it's actually just shrug it off, double defend. Oh. Funnily enough, the double defend actually would have done more damage to my enemies because of the letter opener. The fact that I have double tap, ice cream, and shuriken heavily incentivizes at the end of this floor taking anything, absolutely anything I can find that will increase my energy total. It's helpful because of shuriken. Every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain 1 strength. You want to be able to play all of those attacks in a single turn. If you can't, you're not benefiting from shuriken. You know, it's a rough life for you at that point. Hang on, let's just have a quick look here. Beautiful. Yeah, it's a rough life for you at that point. Obviously, ice cream, because any excess energy will just be conserved. So, completely fine. I would love for it to be the Cursed Key, because I have Blue Candle and I have an Immolate in my deck already. And then on top of that, Letter Opener incentivizes it because you want to be able to play 3 skills in a turn, and since one of my skills costs 2 energy, I can't play it and 2 other skills in the same turn, at the moment at least. Yeah. That was a good move. I put Immolate back on top when I had a wound in my deck, but it was unnecessary. Huh. So I'm going to take Evolve because I can just Immolate the Evolved cards out of my deck, the wounds. So when I'm up against people who don't wound me, I can just wound myself. Evolve is also very likely to be the next card that I have to upgrade. Okay. We'll shrug first. And then for the sake of AoE damage, I'm going to do double defend to trigger the letter opener. I think I just double tap, Immolate, burn both of the wounds, and win. So that's cool. That's fun. only one of these I want is Pommel Strike. And Pommel Strike's actually really, really, really good in a deck like this because you can put something manipulate something to the top of your deck with the Headbutt and then Pommel Strike to draw it. Or, and this is always super fun, upgrade Pommel Strike so it draws you 2 cards and then Headbutt the Pommel Strike, draw 4. It's really nice. Handy. I think I've got the Slime Boss, yeah, at the end of this floor. That's frustrating, but we should be fine against it. This is like 1000% double tap Headbutt. So that just put double tap and Headbutt back on top of my deck. So even though I'm drawing fewer cards this turn, I'm still going to draw double tap Headbutt. Put that double tap back on top. Put that Headbutt back on top. I do want to strike here, because it gives me the extra strength from Shuriken, but it also gets my opponent super near the 70, at which point they would split. Which gives me the ability to do a ridiculous amount of damage during their split. As much as I want to have the Evolve active, this is way, way better. Also, programming note, I should have double tapped the Pommel Strike first so that I would have had the Headbutt later. Because then the Headbutt could have put the Double Strike and the Headbutt back on top of my deck. However, since I had the Pommel Strike second, I drew both of those and then just discarded them. Oh, give me those wounds! Hurt me! Hurt me! Sure, double tap a bash. It's a kill. I've got to remind myself not to use extra cards at the end of a turn unless I desperately want to trigger Letter Opener because Ice Cream's here. Alright, I'm going to evolve then Pommel Strike. Hopefully draw one of the curses. I didn't, but that makes me sad. Aww. I would have immolated the curse and I would have immediately blown the enemy up. It would have been cool. It would have been fun. It would have been nice. Man. Yeah, there we go. Let's draw the whole deck. I can't draw Immolate for the life of me. Weaken Potion is less powerful than a Fire Potion, typically. Doubling up a Bludgeon is actually pretty good. Upgrade, it's 42 damage. It's obviously affected less by strength than anything else. And we'll be playing fewer cards in a turn because of Shuriken. I did want a Bludgeon build relatively soon, just because it's... look at that damage! But I might actually just take another double tap. Here, the goal is to never have them in the same hand. That's a cursed key. I can't believe we got it. No consideration even given to the other two. Cursed key was going to be the best option. I knew it before. I, in fact, was extolling the virtues of it. And then it appeared. Ooh, these paths are actually kind of similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, but if I make the cut in, I actually miss out on 2, so it's 1, 2, 3. Alright, alright, alright. So I get 1 extra rest on this side, but on the other side, I get a bunch more question mark spaces. I could also go for an early shop here. No, I don't want the shops as much as I want question mark spaces, because I want to grab some curses. Got him. Now, there's no reason to use either of these, unless I just want to burn a strike out of my deck, which I do. So, there was a reason to use one of them. I'm sorry, I lied to you all. I kind of want to double tap the bash and then pommel strike. Yep. So sure, I'm going to take 10 damage here, and my opponent's going to heal by 10. But... yeah, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do. Uh-huh. Yeah. There's the rest of my deck. Beautiful. Let's double tap that Immolate. 1, 2. I should have the kill this turn. No, not with that draw. Not extremely far. Just 6 off. But still, not extremely close either, I guess. Easy kill. Combust. Nah, I have AoE. Would rather keep the thinner deck so that I can continually trigger this Sundial. Speaking of keeping a thinner deck, let's remove some more cards from it. Yes, that actually works with my build, sure. I'll get Jaxed. Shrug it off always happens here. Probably the defend as well, in fact. I'm going to weaken the one in front because I'm going to be killing the one in the back. So I take 4 damage here. That's kind of going to be the way of the world if I actually want to make sure that I kill this Mugger in time. Yeah, that's exactly the hand that I really didn't want to see those double taps in. I may actually need to use the explosion to kill the frontliner. Especially if it defends this turn. Oh, you didn't. Thank freak. Ooh. Well, this is awkward. I actually can't do any damage to the Mugger right now. Like, short. Alright, I'm actually going to use my draw here. Oh, that's better. Double tap the headbutt. Both of those back on top of my deck. I'll use Flame Barrier. Does 4 damage by itself, and then I get hit, and it does 4 damage again. 4 damage from the letter opener, mind. Was the first one. Now I can double tap another headbutt, and at this point, yeah, we should just pretty much guarantee that you don't get out of here. Beautiful. I mean, we use the draw instead of the fire potion. The fire potion is typically better for taking out elites, so I'm fine with that. Seeing red. Ooh, does that go in this deck? I mean, we usually overdraw a little, especially considering the evolve and the pommel strike. I usually don't have enough energy to play all of my things. Even Shrug It Off is contributing towards that. And then even furthermore on top of that, Ice Cream will just keep the energy around if I don't use it. So yeah, this is fine. This is more than fine. I was worried about this. It's still correct to do, especially considering the double taps. But since I removed 3 strikes from my deck, 2 strikes from my deck, this has kind of muddied the waters. Like, it added a bunch of cards back into my deck. If I'd been removing defends, then this wouldn't have been a problem. But I wouldn't be removing defends because that's dumb that early. For this build, at the very least. So we are going to take a bunch of damage here. But thanks to double tap and the bites, especially if I start upgrading those bites, we're going to be fine. Cool. Let us double tap a bash. Flame barrier. That one in the back line is going to die this turn. Unfortunately, I am also going to become vulnerable as a result. I could have bombed it to prevent that from happening. Oh, wow! If it doesn't live, it actually doesn't inflict its negative effect. Holy crumbs! I did not know that. It didn't survive trying to hit me, so I didn't take its debuff. That is really interesting. I'm going to have to keep in mind that that is a mechanic in this game. Because I've definitely not been thinking about that so far. Alright, let's put a bite back on top of the deck. That was dumb. Yeah, that was really dumb. I should have put a double tap back on top of the deck so that I could play more of the bites. Yeah, that was really stupid. Thank you for the wound. Alright. And then I get to bite next turn as well. Get 2 more HP. We do need to start upgrading those bites, though. So that they heal us for 3. Unceasing Top is pretty good. Basically, it means that I will always have to have wounds. Right? Doesn't mean that? Hang on. In a build that has Ice Cream and Unceasing Top, there's so much stuff you can do, but I've already kind of locked myself out of a lot of that by putting wounds in my deck. Because those wounds will take up a space in my hand, and they will prevent me from, you know, continuing the Unceasing Top. Unless I have more ways to burn them out of my deck, I currently have an Immolate, and that's about it. No, none of that. The closest there is Uppercut, but I still don't want it. Sure. Save myself 4 energy for next turn. Especially with Evolve Plus, I could actually just draw out 10 cards. Go off next turn. Yeah, that'll get close. Double tap the headbutt? Double tap the headbutt, then double butt. Yeah. Alright. Double tap back on top. Put that. Flame barrier? No. I need to be more proactive. Okay, so I'm setting up that cultist in the back line to die to AoE after I cast 3 skills in the next turn. Okay, well now we use double tap plus, but the problem is we definitely need to shrug it off this turn. That didn't work. And I have no extra wound in there, so I don't shuffle Immolate to the top of my deck. So here, I'm going to burn Immolate, and I'm going to burn the less powerful double tap. And then I'm going to start double biting. This will keep me well protected. And heal me up. Oh, I forgot about the Unceasing Top. Damn it. The more energy manipulation I can put in my deck at this point, the way better the Unceasing Top is going to perform for us. Oh, that was dumb. I should have done the Pommel Strike, because then my opponent wouldn't have died at the very start, and I had the possibility of double tapping a bite instead. Reaper. Yes, everyone's incredibly impressed by you speeding down a tiny street, you absolute... So Reaper. I've got Reaper and I've got Armaments here that I actually want to choose between. It's unfortunate the only upgraded one is neither of those two. It's Flex. Flex is fine in this build, especially because I'm, like, really heavy on draw. But it's also not, like, amazing. Armaments will upgrade every card in my hand, and I'm actually starkly short on upgrades. Also, Reaper gives me an ability to heal, but I already have the bites. I don't think I need the Reaper. I think I need Armaments, and I think I need to upgrade Armaments ASAP. We have it. It is time. It is time. We are going to do the Duvu build. So we have Blue Candle to move curses out of our deck. We also have Immolate to move curses out of our deck. And then we have Duvu. For each curse in our deck, when we start combat, we get 1 additional strength. So we can burn all of the curses in the combat and keep the strength. This is really good. We should definitely be using Flame Barrier here, and probably Double Bite. Yeah. Yeah, just Double Bite. I was considering whether or not I should have started that with Double Tap Bash on the back line and then the single bite. And that would have been by using my energy potion to allow me to do that. But... you know what I mean? I'm defended against all but 1 damage here. But I mean, I have nothing to immolate anyway, so... I could immolate that defend, but I don't think this fight is going to cycle through my deck enough times for that to be an important distinction. Okay. Well, I mean, here I just want to protect myself against as much damage as possible, so that's a lot of damage already prevented. Okie dokie. The rest of this should be easy. In fact, if I wanted to, given the fact that my opponent blocks 18 every turn, I could just sit here and farm all of my HP back to full using all these bites and just constantly bite only the armor. Because we don't heal only when we hit unblocked against this enemy. We heal regardless. Because the card doesn't say, like Reaper does say, heal for any unblocked damage, whereas Bite just says heal to HP. That turned out to be a really good healing event at the very end there. I'm glad that I didn't use my other potions. Hemokinesis is really strong, though. Like, Hemokinesis would be a lot of damage. Are we lacking damage in this deck? I mean, we kind of are. But this deck isn't about damage. This deck is actually about sustain. Considering all of the bites and the fact that I've got like a bunch of different block cards, it's actually just about deck manipulation and sustain. I think I take none of these. Obviously, I can't take Clash because if I have a wound in my deck, Clash will never work. I don't want to take Armaments because you don't actually want that many Armaments. Is that true? How many Armaments do I want in my deck? It might actually be 2. I'd need to upgrade both of them, which is unfortunate. Yeah, do I actually want a second Armaments? Okay. Convince myself of that one. Oh, you don't know what you just did. That's Bag of Preparation. Obviously, there's Dramatic Entrance, and they deal 6 damage to all enemies exhaust. Upgraders deal 10 damage to all enemies exhaust. I mean, it's good. I'm not going to say it's not good. Obviously, Darkstone Periapt here would be incredible, because we'd be able... you know, we'd just go wild with all the curses. But our opening hand is so important to us in this deck. I think we start taking the defense out, because we have better versions of them effectively in the deck right now. Shrug It Off, other things as well. Armaments, in fact, is a better version of it. I actually kind of just want to, like, Armaments my Flame Barrier and just have it ready. No, that's stupid. That's stupid. Awesome. Completely remove all of those. I could have easily put a poison on the backliner because I don't actually have a ridiculous amount of AoE. So poisoning the backliner here would be completely reasonable. I'm going to double tap the Pommel Strike here just so that I can draw my whole deck. Oh, that's a very small amount of my whole deck. Alright. I'm going to drop this Poison Potion. Unfortunately, I'm going to lose 2 charges on my Plated Armor. I'm now going to have a chance to start healing back up, but I wonder if it's possibly too late. 6. Okay. I'm going to headbutt a double tap back to the top of my deck. I'm going to shrug it off. I'm going to double tap the bash. This is just so that I can guarantee that this gremlin... First off, Shuriken needed to be active, so I need to do 3 attacks. But I need to guarantee this gremlin leader has vulnerability for a bunch of turns upcoming. I will remove Parasite here. But that could have gone either way on Parasite. It would be nice to still have Parasite in my deck to activate Immolate. Alright. Well, I mean, Headbutt actually just kills here, so that's pretty good. Is that what I do then? What if I double tap this Headbutt? Alright, what's it? It's 21. If I upgrade that Headbutt, I believe Headbutt goes from 9 to 12 damage, so it gets 3 more damage. So it would have 3 more damage in this form, which would be 17. And then 17's rounding would be, it gets 8 more damage, so it would go to 25. So that's 2 times 25. We use 1, 2, 3 energy. And then we bash for the kill. Okay, never mind. We actually just have the... I'm a freaking idiot. I should have done that to the double tap. Obviously. Like, extremely obviously I should have done that to the double tap. Because now... Oh, look. It doesn't kill. Because the bash isn't double tapped. I was relying on that being a bash double tap. Thankfully, I still take no damage right here, but it was dumb, and it's important that you know it's dumb so that in the future, when you play the game, you don't make the same mistakes that I just made. And if I pommel strike on you... There we go, I got a bite. The whole idea there was basically just play as many bites as I can before the end of that. Oh, bag of marbles. I kind of want to take a Thunderclap in this deck. I gotta be honest with you. Double tapping a Thunderclap is actually really powerful. Especially when you have a bunch of strength buffs already. Right. Unfortunately, our first upgrades probably have to go to double... No, armaments, both of them. I almost balls that one up. Oh, this is easy. We armaments the double tap, we use the double tap, and then we just eat this guy. No need to block against the incoming damage from an enemy when you can just murder them. It'd be really good here if I could actually kill this enemy, the 80 HP of him, before I draw my entire deck here. What happened there? So I played both of my final cards, then Unceasing Top triggered once and drew me a card. Then I drew another card. What triggered the second card draw? I don't know. It's actually really weird. Unfortunately, I don't have three skills to play here. I'm literally going to be 1 damage short of being able to kill you in time. I am so mad. So now I'm going to get the Sundial trigger right now against an enemy that I was going to be fine against anyway. It's kind of gross and annoying, but sure. Bloodletting. Yeah. It's definitely bloodletting because we can get the HP back super easily. And bloodletting, like, we'll never regret having the extra energy because we have Ice Cream. Good. I should shrug it off before... No, but I'm not going to shrug it off at all this turn, so... And then we Bloodlet. Thunderclap. Pommel Strike just in case it changes my turn. Doesn't really. I'm gonna shrug it off. I'll see what I get. Ooh, nice. That's a pretty good opener right there. That's a pretty good opener. Sure. Burn that Parasite out of my deck. And let's Armaments. I'm going to Armaments Bloodletting back on top of my deck, because then I'm going to instantly draw it as a result of the Unceasing Top, and then I get to play it, and then I draw another card. Oh yeah, let's go. The strategy! It's arrived! Alright. It's just double tap as many bites as I can get here. And sure, we'll drop a Flame Barrier here. Protect myself against 9. The other 5 is from the Plated Armor, so that was going to be protected anyway. This guy's going to try and weaken me next turn. I'm going to Armaments so that I can double tap this Headbutt. And put the double tap and the Headbutt back on top of my deck. And we'll double tap this Bite as well. So since you're doing the weakening this turn, next turn, you're going to have to do the self buff. Yeah, there it is. Which, I'm afraid to say, might be too late. The double tap back on top of the deck. And the Headbutt. Alright, I'm going to burn both of these cards. It gets me an extra energy. It also allows me to draw. Put a Bite back on top of my deck. Sure. I had to remember there that whatever I put back on top of my deck, I was going to instantly draw, but it didn't make a difference. I guess unless I put a Wound back on top of my deck and use that to draw 2 more cards, and one of those was the Bloodletting, it wouldn't have been, as it turns out, but I didn't know that at the time, so that makes that incorrect. Alright. Ugh. Forgot about it. That said, I don't know if I would have played the Thunderclap if I drew it then. Because it would apply a vulnerability that would wear off the end of turn. So it would be 7 damage. Versus taking the energy there forward and letting it possibly deal a lot more than 7 damage. These 2 bites have got the kill, right? Yeah, they do. Awesome. It's 1,000% offering. Is there anything that can dissuade me from that? No, there isn't. I actually play a lot of cards in a single turn. And it's also worth noting, when you double tap and then play 2 cards after it, so double tap and then I play a strike, it gets duplicated, and I play another strike and it gets duplicated, that counts as 5 cards. So especially in this deck, the Velvet Choker is not viable. An episode just went live recently. I think it was called Timing, episode 48. And there was a point at which in that episode I turned down a Velvet Choker. I think I gave very, very poor reasoning for it. In this deck, I don't think I'm giving poor reasoning. I play too many cards in a turn, especially considering I have energy manipulation. Someone was talking in that episode specifically about, I mean, you have Ice Cream. Doesn't that mitigate the effect of Velvet Choker? That's not always the case. In that build, I can't remember that build. It might have been the case, but oftentimes it's not the case because I just want to continue playing cards on that turn so that I can mitigate what my opponent's going to do next turn, rather than just banking up a bunch of energy and exploding with it later. I could take Runic Dome. So I will. I mean, I have Ice Cream. Having more energy manipulation is always better. I have Ice Cream. Alright, well, there's an obvious path here. Offering. Oh, by the way, sorry. My sincerest apologies. I'm trying to do this more often. Okay. Letter Opener. Every time you play 3 skills in a single turn, deal 5 damage to all enemies. Blue Candle allows you to play curse cards to exhaust it from your deck and lose 1 HP. Energy is conserved between turns with the Ice Cream. Sundial is every 3 times you shuffle your deck, gain 2 energy. So if you have a small deck, that allows you to actually go off. Shuriken, anytime you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain an energy. You can also do that multiple times in a single turn. Cursed Key. Gain energy at the start of every turn whenever you open a non-boss chest, gain a curse. Then Unceasing Top, whenever you have no cards in hand during a turn, draw a card. There's also Duvu Dole, which is for each curse in your deck. Start each combat with 1 additional strength. Thread and Needle gives you 5 charges of plated armor, or rather 5 stacks of plated armor. Anytime you take HP damage from an enemy's attack, you will lose a charge of plated armor. Plated armor at the end of your turn just gives you as much block as there is plated armor. Bag of Preparation is effectively the Ring of the Snake for the Silent. It just gives you 2 additional cards on your first turn of combat. Bag of Marbles applies 1 vulnerability to all enemies at the start of every combat, and Runic Dome means I can't see my enemies' intents, so you can see that I don't know if they're going to attack or block or anything like that, but I do get an extra energy. Alright. That was quite the rundown. Hey, there's the double tap. I really wanted to double tap Blood. Thunderclap is why I've elected to do this. Mm-hmm. I was about to say, depends on what I draw, but I think I might just have everyone here. Ah, fuck. Was there anything I could have drawn there that would have done it? No. I wanted another skill that I could play so that I could just blow everyone up. Easy. Full HP, don't mind if I do. None of those. 0 of those. Thank you very much. Rage would allow me to generate a lot of block, but the thing is, this deck doesn't generate block. That's not what this deck does. So using this deck to generate block seems... like, I don't need block at any point. I'm just about killing my enemies. Ruthlessly. I mean, I can also just armament, use that one there. And then this will be a full block against any opening attack because they have 15 damage on their opening turn. I mean, they have a 10 damage attack that gives you a debuff by putting a burn in 2 parts of your deck, but they also have a 15 damage attack, and the 15 damage attack is just straight damage. If this could still double Seeing Red and Offering and cards like that, then yes. But it can't, so no. And Iron Wave doesn't really do anything for my builds. Not the way I'm running this build, at least. You can have a really, really cool double tap Iron Wave build where you just get a bunch of armor and you get to do a bunch of offensive power, but again, that's not this build. Whee! Your first one usually is a summon. I'm gonna trust that you're gonna be trying to summon here. Otherwise, you'll deal 22 damage. Yeah, it's almost always a summon on the first turn for the Flame Bruiser. 63 damage in a single turn is not that much a risk. Stretch, rather. Double tap back on top. Let's put the headbutt back on top. And then we'll double bite you for the lethal. Beautiful. Scarcely could have gone better. I actually don't need an elixir to burn things out of my deck, so we'll remove that. No. None of this really fits my build. I already have a headbutt in my deck. Do I want a second one? No. No, not really. Oh, God, I hate these so much. The more you fight against them, the more they just become a hassle. Like, that's the greatest insult I can ever give. That I don't dislike fighting you because it's difficult. I dislike fighting you because it's boring. I'm not hassled by the Nemesis, rather. But I do hate it. Okay. Yep. Sure. I'm worried they're both going to do double attacks. That's a double attack. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Thankfully, I heal by 6 at the end, so whatever. I'll armaments because it's effectively free right now, right? Because I've got bloodletting. So bloodletting then just gives me more as a result of the armaments. I'll drop an evolve, then double tap a bite. This will draw me a card. Sure. I mean, if I immolate this armaments, then I get to draw a card with more energy already. Shrug it off. Ah, crumbs. This one's going to come back to life. Is that a problem? It's not. Especially because even if the central one does a double 8 attack right now, it's not going to deal any damage to me. See? Double 8 does nothing. So when you have Runic Dome, I think the correct course of action is just to always assume the absolute worst. Whatever could be the worst thing that could happen to you, just assume that is what's going to happen, and then act as though. I could totally put a Whirlwind in this deck. Just because sometimes we have energy manipulation that builds to a ridiculous point. Alright, give me a curse. Man, none of these people sell curses. I mean, I don't defend most turns. This will just be 6 free defense. Is it true that I don't defend most turns? I don't think that's true. Yeah, I play armaments a bunch. Pen nib tip is always nice. Or I could just remove another card from my deck, remove another defense. Use a skill pile if you want to draw a card and put it on top of your deck. Put it on top of your deck, put it into your hand. I mean, that allows me to fish for Offering, Bloodletting, Seeing Red, Jacks if I desperately need it, Armaments if I desperately need it. That actually might be the best option. Okay. And because I always play Offering in my opening hand, even if I don't have a Armaments yet, I'll upgrade it. Speaking of not having an Armaments. That said, I think you're all already dead. Double tap Whirlwind. Yeah. Cool. Runic Dodecahedron is going to be ridiculous. Demon form? No, the fights don't go long enough for demon form. It's just another Offering. Which I'll then upgrade. Should also upgrade Whirlwind as soon as possible. Champion's Belt. Fuck yes. As well as a curse, obviously. Really, really good for me. Can we kill the giant head on the first turn? I've never done it. And that is no. That is a strong, emphatic no from my deck right now. Making it very clear that that's not available to me right now. Oh well. Sure. Oh, maybe. armaments, because that's a lot of upgrades for a single armament. Now, if I just burn both of these out of my deck, I get an extra energy as well as I get to draw another card. Ooh, Jax, yes. Well, I'm going to use an energy potion here because I'm still full up on potions right now. That was a secret technique. I could have just fished the other one out of my deck. I'm stupid. I keep forgetting that I have the unceasing top. I promise to you that I am trying. It's just I'm trying to also go fast. Shrug. I could fish for bloodletting or a double tap right now. It's nothing I really want to put back on top of my deck right now, though. I don't really want to thunderclap yet. Are those the only 2 wounds in my deck? Those are the only 2 wounds in my deck, so I can offering now. Yeah, there's a double tap. I'm gonna get an armament just so I can upgrade everything in my hand, and then it's gonna be like bite, pommel strike, or put another bite back on top of my deck. They do 32 is like their big hit, but the thing is, oh, beautiful. Wow, that's only the second turn against you. This fight seems like it's been going for 1 billion years, but actually it's only the second turn against you. Ridiculous. And fully healed. Molten egg. All right. It's going to be whirlwinds. Just to increase the chances that we blow everyone out of the water on the first round. And I don't want to rest in 3 question marks. But you know what? All elites all the way. Let's go. Depending on the opening hand, we could have an insta-kill here as well. Okay, well, secret technique to take an offering. Thing is, now I need to play like a card or 2. Because I don't want to draw like all of my wounds and then fill my entire hand. Like that. None of these allow me to draw unless I burn out my entire hand, but there's no way I'm burning out my entire hand. Alright. Let's immolate that wound. A bunch of damage, then we will bite and bite. I'll play this one safe. I'm actually just going to put up a flame barrier rather than attack again. Oftentimes, I try and get really, really quick with this fight. And when I do that, I obviously take a bunch of damage to the thorns, and I take a bunch of damage to the explosives. And then oftentimes, I die. Because, by the way, Jax can get upgraded. It just gives you an extra strength. Then oftentimes, I die. Because I can't survive after all of the things I did. So let's not do that to us. You know, just for my sake. See? See? Oh, fuck. I know what it is as well. Okay, so for a long time, I've been wondering, why is it that when you hit an enemy that has thorns, you take damage, but if you kill the enemy that has thorns, sometimes you don't take damage. And this was brought to the foreground of my mind when you fight the Guardian on floor 1. It has a thorns effect. And I thought, oh, thorns and the thorns effects that the Guardian on floor 1 have must just be different. But the thing is, always, by necessity, by the fact that there is only a single enemy on the first floor boss, specifically for the Guardian, I mean. Obviously, the slime boss is different. But because of that, it's always a killing blow that ends the battle. However, if you kill something that has thorns and it doesn't end the battle, so like if I'd left up an explosive one still, but I killed something that has thorns, then I will take the thorns damage for the thing that I killed. However, if I kill it last, the round ends before the Thorn's damage triggers. I'm really, really, really pleased that I figured that out. That was messing with me. I thought it was going mad. Oh, hello. I might go mad. Let's see how this goes. I think, unfortunately, here, I just need to deal a bunch of damage. Double tap back on top. Get a headbutt back on top. That was wrong. That was wrong. You're going to be well defended next turn. That was dumb. That was really dumb. I'm going to immolate to burn the bite and the headbutt out of my deck, because I need to make my deck, on balance, more defensive than offensive, so that I can actually survive through the central turns against the Nemesis. So this one, this turn, this turn, this turn. What do I know that the enemy is going to be doing? By armaments first, the Pommel Striker is going to draw 4. But this turn, I know my enemy is going to be doing a 3 multiple attack, so it's usually 4 by 3. If you weaken, it becomes 3 by 3. So 9 versus 12 that I need to be prepared against. So now I'm prepared against it. Sure. I was playing those for the possibility that I ended up drawing... Hang on, we'll see. 1, 2, 3. Yep, and it was 12 damage and put 3 burns in my deck. Beautiful. Yeah, I was doing all of that for the possibility of drawing Offering, by the way. This one is 40 damage, just 40 straight damage. So how do I prevent myself from taking 40 straight damage? Gonna need, like, all of my defensive things, but I have none of them in hand right now. Thankfully, I do have Champion's Belt, so whenever I apply weakness, whenever I apply vulnerability, I'm also applying a weakness. So I'm going to Thunderclap to apply a weakness. That means that it's now 30 incoming damage. I know that both of those are wounds, so I need my hand to be basically empty before I play Offering. Because Offering will draw 5, and 2 of those are wound cards, and those will each draw 2 themselves. So it draws 9. Okay. There we go. Flame Barrier is a huge defense. I think it might just have to be Flame Barrier and Hope. What else can I do? I can also bring a Bloodletting into my hand. Use a Bloodletting and use a Defend. It's better than not doing that, I guess. Secret Technique. Bring a Bloodletting into my hand. Use the Bloodletting, and then use that for a defense. So that prevented 2 damage, basically. Yep, there's the 30 damage strike. Gets completely blocked. Now we need to do as much damage this turn as possible. Oh, that's going to be rough. That's going to make it a lot easier. And you know what? It's totally worth it. I'm going to drop that bomb just to get out of this fight. Toxic Egg. I think the one that I really want to upgrade is Secret Technique, so that it doesn't leave my deck. But the thing is, like, it's usually just used to fish for Bloodletting, so what if I upgrade Bloodletting? Let's actually see what cards are on offer. I don't think it's Corruption, but maybe. No. Like, the thing about Corruption is it means that if I don't kill... The thing about Corruption in this deck specifically, it means if I don't kill super early, I'm just gonna die. Right, because my deck becomes Bash, Headbutt, Immolate, 2 wounds, Bash, Headbutt, Immolate, 2 wounds, Pommel Strike, then 5 bites, and a Thunderclap. You know, the funny thing is, if I actually had Dark Embrace, which is the 2 energy, whenever you exhaust a card, draw a card, and then it upgrades to become 1 energy. Obviously, Corruption also upgrades to become 2 energy. Both of them would be extremely affordable, and I'd just be able to fit them kind of like edgeways into my deck. And then, at that point, I would be able to draw through my entire deck, get a ridiculous amount of energy, and just reliably blast everything away with a Whirlwind. Do I want to take Corruption for the possibility of doing that? No, but I'm going to. Alright, Madness. Yeah, I'm fine. I'll take some Madness. Some would say I already have. I actually need the Pommel Strike because I need the draw. I'll lose 1 Madness, I guess. Unfortunate, but kind of necessary, I believe. I heal so much in a standard fight that I think keeping the bites is a good idea. I think it might be like Corruption. Alright, Donu. Decker. Let's go. I can't corrupt this early. Oh, can I, though? You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be really mad at myself for having done it. This is going to burn the top card of my deck as well, by the way. Oh, no, it didn't. It just fizzled. It didn't draw in between the casts of... Interesting. Okay. Let's draw a bunch of cards. At the very least, because I have Unceasing Top, it's kind of working as a poor man's Dark Embrace right now. Thing is, it's going to fizzle now that we've got these wounds in our deck. Don't tap that bite. Armaments, and you're the one that I killed last. I believe that someone in the comments was telling me that I should be focusing Donu first rather than Decker, and that I usually focus Decker. So I'm gonna go for that. I didn't think there was a significant difference, to be fair. Or at least I wasn't aware of the significant difference. I'm always more than glad to be told stuff like that, though. I'd rather be corrected once than wrong forever, is my typical mantra with respect to that kind of thing. See, none of those in my deck will draw a card, which is a problem. Because then Secret Technique does nothing. What if I use Secret Technique to draw Madness, then Offering will draw 5 cards, which means that I'll have a deck? But what do I want a deck for? So that I can use Secret Technique, right? I'm a huge moron. Yeah. Alright, let's Whirlwind for a ridiculous amount of damage. That was good. Don't you think that was good? I think that was good. I'm going to use a block potion, even though it's probably not going to do anything, because I think you were on the defensive this turn. Nope, you're on the attack. Hell yeah. All right, so that Corruption kind of totally, ridiculously, definitely worked, and I'm sorry that I ever insinuated otherwise. Corruption's actually been working a lot in my builds recently, so... I think it, like Disarm, is going to have to be up for a performance review. 638 isn't an amazing score. I think... Oh. Combo! Oh, man, I don't have any flawless bosses, like a champion. Oh, right, but I have been damaging myself, so I guess that's kind of... No, but I think that measures whether or not they hit you. I guess I wasn't really super powerful until the start of that final floor. I really thought that I would have had some more modifications there, to be fair. Some more score mods. I think I've got a 750, so I've got the leaderboard right now. I was 43rd super recently on the... yeah. I've since been significantly pushed down. Is it going to be with cheaters? Yeah. Like, that's 1,000% a cheat. I don't actually know of any way that you can get 5,000 or even like above 3,000 in a single run. Those win streaks could be totally legitimate though. Oh yeah, completed the game in 23 seconds. Oh look, Zero completed the game. The same person that has the highest score, by the way, completed the game in 15 minutes and 35 seconds. How incredible for them. They're such an incredibly good player. I did this joke before, didn't I? Sometimes I repeat jokes because I have a memory like a goldfish, so I just forget that I've told them before, and I end up repeating them as a result. And then Silent, I'm like 192. Yeah, I mean, above 200 in a board that ranks in the thousands, I feel pretty good about that for the moment. My name has been Rhapsody, the name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we will see you next time, Paul F. Tompkins. That's right, I'm calling you out specifically. There's no way he watches this, but he's a cool dude and I like him. Watch Speakeasy on YouTube. If you haven't watched the Speakeasy interview series, I suggest watching them and listening to Spontaneation, the podcast. This is obviously not a thing that I'm ever going to be involved with. They're just really cool. He's a nice comedian and a good improviser. He's good. Enjoy. Goodbye.